NFL Stock Exchange Podcast. I am Trevor Sikkema. That is Connor Rogers. And this, my friends, is Draft Day 2022. It is Thursday, which means it is time for round one of the NFL Draft. Connor, those are beautiful words to my ears, probably to my pillows as well, because hopefully it means I'm going to get some sleep soon in a couple of days. But buddy, we made it. A lot of podcasts, a lot of rankings, a lot of thoughts, opinions that we have shared both on the pod and off. But it's exciting times, man. I'm happy to be here. How you feeling?
Me too, man. This is going to be a fun show. It's going to be a different show than we've done in a long time. And you're right. There is no better sleep than the first long sleep after the days of the draft. I think for me this year, it'll be Sunday into Monday because I know you have to do a show Sunday. I have to do a show Sunday. So Sunday into Monday, maybe a couple beers Sunday night and a long rest. It's going to feel real good. But these next couple days are the best days of the year. Honestly, this is adult Christmas at this point. This is adult Christmas. It is the best time of the year. You and I are going to be doing a lot of different content together in the wee hours of the night. I can't wait to recap it all.
Dude, it's going to be so fun. This episode is going to be a little bit different for you guys. You know, we've got the final mock draft episode. We've got the final big board episode. So today, the morning of the draft, we wanted to cut it loose. A little less structure, a little more fun to get you guys involved in the show. This is going to be a Q&A show. We asked you guys to tweet at us or leave your 5-star iTunes reviews on any questions for us about prospects, about teams, about draft strategies, about whatever it is for the upcoming draft. And so we're going to open it up. We're going to do the full show of Q&A. Got to remind you guys, Draft 50 promo code. It's still going on right now. 50% off, half off for a PFF Elite subscription. No better time to get it. And then, of course, our friends over at Jock Market, the presenting sponsors of the NFL Stock Exchange. Their motto, stop betting and start trading. It's a really cool way to get some skin in some game in a fun way, where what you're doing is you're buying and selling shares of players in real time for real money while their games are happening. So if you think a guy's got a really juicy matchup that night, you want to bet on it, you think he's going to perform really well, go over to Jock Market, Jock MKT, you can download it or go to their website.com, throw some money on the line. You can buy some shares of that player, and if he plays really well, you win. You get cold hard cash for it. Deposit now with the promo code PFF. You get 100% deposit match on up to $100, whatever your first deposit is. Free PFF Edge subscription as well over at jockmarket.com/PFF. Like I said, you can go there or download the app at Jock MKT. Connor, I have a story before we get rolling here.
I always enjoy these.
So I have sitting next to me, and I'm going to show this on the camera.
Oh, God.
This is a Chipotle burrito. And this is a Chipotle burrito with double rice, triple meat, and a little bit of cheese, also known as the George Karlaftis.
The Karlaftis tank, baby.
Because earlier this week, Chipotle sent out tweets of what prospects have as their go-to order. And Karlaftis said, it's his go-to order, folks. Triple steak, double rice, and a little bit of cheese. So on this show, I wanted to order the Karlaftis, and I wanted to see how much of it I could finish while we're doing the podcast. I'm going to mute my mic so you guys don't hear me chewing in between us answering these questions. But I wanted to make that a fun challenge. But here's the story, Connor. And I'm a little peeved right now. I'm a little hot. I'm miffed. Because if you'll notice, this bowl is triple chicken. It is not steak.
It's not the Karlaftis.
It's not the Karlaftis. It's not steak. I'm eating a scared bird over here. I'm eating chicken. Karlaftis can't be. You just turn on the tape and you realize that guy's not doing that. So I walk over to my local Chipotle. It's about 2 blocks from where I live. I'm very blessed. And I walk in and I go, hey, can I get a double steak burrito? And then I was gonna make him do the double steak and then put an extra scoop on. They go, we don't have any steak. I'm like, okay, you're saying you don't have any steak made, or you don't have any steak at all? She's like, we don't have any steak at all. It was 6:45. It was 6:45. It was prime dinner time. So obviously,
bad prep. It's bad draft prep.
She was very nice. She felt very bad, and so I didn't give her any attitude at all. So, but I was just like, what am I gonna do? So I go home and I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of time. I can DoorDash it from a different place, a different Chipotle. So I set up my order, and it doesn't let me change where it goes to. And it sends my order to the Chipotle store that didn't have the steak.
You've got to be kidding.
And I said to myself, I was like, okay, if they don't have steak still, then they're just not going to accept the order. They accept the order. I get my hopes up. I unwrap the bad boy when it gets here. Sure as enough, it's triple chicken.
They didn't tell you?
No, I paid full price for triple steak and I got triple chicken.
You got robbed.
Screwed out here. But in honor of George Karlaftis, hopefully being a first-round prospect, I'm gonna try
It's glorious.
I'm gonna try to eat this whole thing during the course of this podcast. But yeah, man, I felt robbed.
Yeah, it's a tough go of it. You gotta. Usually they call you and say,
Right,
sir, we don't have this item. Are you okay with the substitution? We will not charge you. But I tweeted this at you, and I can't get past it. And as I see the elevation of that bowl, sorry for the audio only listeners, double rice is the most diabolical thing. Ooh. Here's my problem with double rice, because there were a lot of people that responded like, "Oh no, I always get double rice." Double rice is literally cheating yourself, because when they start to fill up the bowl, and now you got triple meat, so like it made up for. But if you're just getting single portion meat or even double meat, where they definitely cheat you, they fill that thing up with the double rice, and then they skimp you on the meat, and it's rice. It takes 20 seconds to make it home. When you go out, you don't double up on the things that are the most basic things. Who is getting double rice?
Yeah, but hold on. We've all been there, right? We've all gone.
Get a bag of chips.
Hold on. We've all gone to the gym, and we've had those days where we go, I'm gonna deadlift and squat in the same session. So you basically can't even walk into this establishment, and you think to yourself, I need the extra carbs. So you go double rice, double meat. You make it happen. You never been there? Come on. I know people out there feel what
I was a power lifter. I used to eat Chipotle after lifting like 4 times a week.
Okay, there we go.
I would never. Double rice is cheating yourself. You get a bag of chips. Get the tortillas. Ask for the tortillas.
See, this is kind of a pro move. These are strategies here. I'm okay.
Yeah, there's strategy in play here, especially back then. I was super broke, where it was like, I got to figure this thing out, or else I'm not going to have any money to get gas on the way home.
The tortilla on the side is free, actually. So just, throw that bad
carb tricks. But man, the Karlaftis tank is, I hope Chipotle's listening to this and they have Trevor and I do our own. And I think I would just troll it. I would do like double chicken, double steak, and call it the Connor Bowl with no rice. Just trick everyone.
It's just
with the tortilla.
It's just meat.
It's just a bowl of meat with a tortilla under it and a tortilla over it, and a little bit of cheese and sour cream. That's the move. I hope everybody's happy. Draft day, you've gotten 0 draft talk and all Chipotle talk. Welcome to the NFL Stock Exchange.
Okay, let's actually get to the questions now before too many people turn off the podcast. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. This one's a little bit laid back, but we'll start with the iTunes questions, because we promised you guys, if you left an iTunes review, 5 stars for it, it'd be a fast pass for your question. Thank you so much to everybody who did that. It means so much to us that y'all would take the time to do that. And it helps our podcast out so much. It really does. Honestly, I've never had that many iTunes reviews in one sitting. So we might have missed some of you guys because there were so many of them. So we're going to have to create a better system for it, but we really appreciate you guys doing that. First question. This is from CMart923, pre-draft question. It says it's about wide receivers, actually. There's so much talk about wide receiver extensions for top guys versus rookie contracts these days. When looking at value, contract years, draft capital, all that, would you rather draft Treylon Burks in the first round or trade a 4th or 5th round pick for Laviska Shenault? Also ignoring the off the field stuff, the attitude issues, whatever it is, with Kadarius Toney as well. You could throw him in there with him being shopped. Thanks, boys. Can't wait until Thursday. Connor, what do you think about this? Would you rather have Laviska Shenault for a 4th or a 5th, or Treylon Burks in the first?
It depends where you're getting Burks in the first, right? I think that's a pretty broad question, and I get it. I personally like Burks, and, Shenault has had the injury problems for a long time. I know Jacksonville is not a place for guys to succeed, but I don't know if that green light's going to ultimately come on in a way where you take that kind of leap of faith. I think the overall theory of the question is really well done, where can you look for value at a position that the market financially for it has exploded in a way that GMs are probably freaking out over? And now we're going to see this tonight. Draft capital has exploded over it. You're going to see a ton of receivers go in the top 15 picks of this draft that, traditionally we're not used to seeing that. You might see 1 guy go early, 2 guys go early. But remember, not that long ago, we were all sitting there going, how the hell is CeeDee Lamb still on the board? And, now those days are over. The wide receivers go early. So I think when you look at it, I would still take the wide receiver early because I think that there's a reason why guys get put on the bargain rack, unfortunately. And more often than not, it's the harsh reality of the NFL. They don't turn it around in the capacity of being a star. If they turn around and being an average player, that's a huge win at that point.
Yeah, I think that, look, there has been a lot of talk of there's so many wide receivers, there's so many good wide receivers. Why would you spend premium capital on one when you know you can get a good one later, or you could even get good ones in free agency? We've seen that as well. I think you hear a lot of NFL teams say that, and then they're out here giving these wide receivers record-breaking contracts and bending over backwards to trade for them. And so where I think that theory is rooted in logic, it's just not practical right now. They're not putting that into action. They're kind of just saying that, and they're not showing it with their words. And so, look, if you're a premium pass catcher, and if you believe you can get a premium pass catcher in the draft, I think a lot of teams are always going to go that way and not really think about bargain hunting as much as we think that they would. All that to say, let me be honest, Connor, if the health stuff checks out, I'd rather have Laviska for a 4th and 5th round pick, because I like Laviska a lot. Now, obviously, if he fails a physical, or if it's like, yeah, this guy's never going to be healthy, then of course, like, you're not trading for him. But all things being equal, would I rather trade a mid-round pick for Laviska Shenault or a draft Traylon Burks for the first rounder? I'd rather take Laviska Shenault. I would, because I really like them coming out. So
I think it depends who I am too, right? Like, if I'm a team that has 2 good wide receivers and I feel like I can get by with them because my quarterback elevates everybody, then I would take Shenault's gamble. But if I'm a team that, I mean, you look at the Atlanta Falcons, and that's obviously a little early for Burks. They have nothing. And Laviska Shenault-esque player walking in that door is not going to fix their wide receiver corps problem. So it's definitely a team-by-team basis, but the overall outline of the question is a really interesting scenario that a lot of GMs currently are going to have to face.
The other part of that question was, where would Kadarius Toney rank in this draft? Not thinking about the off-the-field issues. I don't know exactly where he would rank, but he'd be in that group that's up at the top. You know, if you're looking for a big body wide receiver, you're not drafting him, but you're probably comparing Kadarius Toney to like a Sky Moore, a Jahan Dotson, maybe.
I think that's right on.
So, I mean, like, that's kind of, I'd probably have Kadarius Toney in the same realm. I'd probably have him higher than Sky Moore. I really would, just because Kadarius is the most unique athlete I feel like I've ever seen in my life. Some of the movements and the flexibility and the balance that he has truly is just mind-bending. So I think you would go ahead of Sky Moore. I feel like he would still be a wide receiver that you're probably picking somewhere in the 20s like he was last year. Do you agree with that? Or what
I like Dotson a lot better than him. I liked Elijah Moore better than him pre-draft last year. But you have to realize some of my, I don't know if it's bias, but a lot of my feelings were because off the field, he's just a knucklehead. And it's, there's been a lot going on there for a long time at Florida. There was a reason he was a 1-year breakout, and there are reasons why for the Giants none of it has gone right, besides maybe 1.5 games so far. So, well, I get it, Trevor. Talent, it's all there.
I know, but you're right. It has to be. It's the same thing with Laviska Shenault, right? It's the same thing. Like, medical, I have to make sure that player is going to be available for me. Talent wise, that's probably where I'm putting him. But am I drafting him in these places? That's the kind of vetting process that you have to have. We've got this next one. Been listening to Connor since Stick to Football. Trevor since Lockdown NFL Draft. Big shout out. Two of the best in business. Appreciate it. Really appreciate that. There's talk of teams looking to move up into the top 10, and more talk of teams who are looking to trade out of the top 10. Could you guys highlight a few teams who you are looking to do either of those, specific maybe players or positions that they would go up for, maybe even teams that you could see making that move that isn't being talked about right now? Thanks, guys. Couple that, let me pull up Tankathon here just so I have the order in front of me. Couple of trade down candidates. I'd say Carolina is an obvious one. Carolina would love to move down, get an extra day 2 pick out of it. I think the New York Giants really want to move out of 5 or 7. I think they really want to move out of 5 or 7. One
7,
of the two.
Definitely the one. Yeah.
They want to get capital for next year. And I don't know if they're going to get it. We'll see. I think those are the 2 teams that are most likely to move back in terms of teams that I think could move up. Houston's always intriguing. I think Nick Caserio is kind of a wild card. Minnesota at 12, if they really want to move up to go get a cornerback, I think that that's an option for them. Philadelphia, if they want to move up for a Jamison Williams or a Garrett Wilson, we've heard whispers of that. Chargers seem like the wild card, but, you know, when I listen to Tom Telesco's pre-draft press conference, he was pretty calm and confident and to the point that, like, yeah, we don't have a second round pick this year, so we're probably not moving up. Like, it's just probably not.
Yeah, that's the pivot pick, right? You always use it to jump.
So, and then of course you've got the New Orleans Saints, but I think the New Orleans Saints are actually okay with making 2 first round selections. A lot more than I thought they were when they made the trade. So that's kind of what I think of that. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, the Giants at 7, hot spot to get out. You would think that where Atlanta is as a franchise, that if they could get out, they would do it to add capital, but we haven't heard anything around that. I always look at teams that, like, you're not going to walk in with a million rookies. Like the Chiefs, they're a really good team. We know that. They have a million picks. I mean, they really do. They have a ton of picks. I believe they have about 11 picks at least, which is crazy. So they're going to move up at some point. It's just a matter if they move up from 29 into the top 20. If they want to move, if they make picks 29 and 30, and then they move up from 50 to the top of the second round, and they feel like they come out of the draft with 3 first rounders. So that's kind of how you look at who's going to move up. I would definitely put the Chiefs in play for that. They will not make all of those picks. Green Bay has a lot of picks, 22, 28, 53, 59. They're clustered, too. That's kind of an issue. 22 and 28 are clustered. 53 and 59 are clustered. 132 and 140, clustered. So, like, you look at it like that, usually you don't want to pick in the same range 3 times in a row. So Green Bay will move somewhere. So we'll see how they handle that. So, yeah, there's a lot of teams that are going to play this board, for the draft. And coming up is typically not very popular. I know we've heard a lot of buzz about the Steelers coming up from Malik Willis. If I was the Steelers, I would probably sit tight and feel like, hey, the quarterbacks are going to make their way to me. So
yeah, if they're comfortable with either Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis,
then sit.
Why would you move up? There's not really a reason. The only reason is because if you love a guy, one of those 2 players more than,
then you go get him.
You go get him, right? Because quarterback, you can't F around with that stuff. I mean, just look at the Carolina Panthers, right? You cannot bargain shop a quarterback. I've been saying that for a while now, and that's kind of
doesn't work, man.
That I continue to go back to. Don't do it. Don't sit back. When it comes to the quarterback position, if you find a guy you love that could potentially change your franchise for you, go up and get him. Be aggressive. Do whatever you got to do to go get him. So that's kind of the way that I see it with the Steelers. But I do agree with the rest of what you were talking about there. Here we go. Here's a Cardinals question. Put your, quote, Steve Keim doesn't know how to draft hat on. And even with
time for water. Almost spit it out all over all of the things that helped me make this show.
And
microphone gone. Yeah. All right, I have my Keim hat on.
Would be another Steve Keim draft casualty. And even with the glaring needs at edge and offensive line, those positions cannot be drafted in the first 3 rounds. He says total Keim move. What prospects would you be targeting for the team? So I think the question is, can't pick edge, can't pick O-line. Who would the Cardinals draft? Wide receiver, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't forget Cliff is there. AJ Green's old. Hopkins is hurt all the time. Rondale Moore is your slot. It's wide receiver. And it's a matter of who falls there. We know they like to throw the ball down the field. Probably Chris Olave, right?
I mean, if he's at 23, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, 23 is a terrible spot for a wide receiver. I can't take O-line, and I can't take edge. Is that correct?
This is correct. These are both correct.
I mean, I'm not taking linebacker for year number 45 in a row. That's been a great strategy.
I don't know, man. Quay Walker's on the rise.
Honestly, is this insanity?
Yeah, probably. I don't even know what you're about to say, but yeah, probably.
I would take Daxton Hill because I don't think they're solidified at the corner safety spots, and I would play him at both. That's where I would go. And that's an anti-Keim pick because Daxton Hill's a really good player. So,
jeez, come on, man. But I mean, that is the theme.
Am I wrong?
Which part? You're wrong about which part?
Any of it. Where are you going?
I mean, I looked up Keim's draft history last week.
It's unbelievable. It's
unique.
Unbelievable. It's a Ponzi scheme at this point.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
How does this man keep doing this? He's running at first it was a quarterback Ponzi scheme. Let's open it up right here. I mean, I guess I'm being a little harsh.
You're being a little harsh, but I mean, look,
this is awful.
Ponzi schemes do get off the ground, though. You got to give it to them. I think they get a bad rap.
I mean, he took Andy Isabella 62nd
Somebody's
overall.
making money somewhere in a Ponzi scheme.
Twitter's favorite player, Hakeem Butler, 103rd.
Oh man, I kind of like Hakeem Butler.
I mean, he's had some hits, but I mean, overall, yeah. So I put on my Steve Keim. Steve Keim doesn't know how to draft hat, as the question said. I did not say that, as a very Steve Keim neutral observer here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I go Dax Hill to answer that question with the stipulations put into play.
I don't know. I'd probably go like Sky Moore. That's probably what I would go, because I think that they'd immediately look to wide receiver. Dax Hill's probably a better pick at that point, but
I could see them taking like Danny Gray in the top 50 or something, top 60.
Lord,
like, yeah, this guy runs a 4.3. Let's do it. I actually like him a lot, but not that early.
Sure,
I like him at like 100.
All right, don't do that to Danny Gray. I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. We do love you. We only want.
We love you.
Yeah, we want the best for you.
We want the best for you. There you go.
We got a Giants trade possibilities question.
Okay.
This is from Derny46. Huge fan of the show. Makes my whole morning commute actually enjoyable now. Wow.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah. Big praise right there. Appreciate that. Appreciate you rocking with us. With the Giants having so many holes to fill and no money, not a good place to be. Joe Shane has expressed interest in getting as many bats as possible in this year's and next year's draft. What do you think are realistic trade packages that you think the Giants would like to see for 5 or 7? Keep up the great work. Go Big Blue. So we just talked about the Giants as a potential trade down from number 5 or number 7. Connor mentioned it, and I think he is correct. I think they'd much rather deal number 7 than number 5. I think they want to have control over which offensive lineman they're going to get at 5. That's just the way that I feel, whether it's Tiki Ekwonu, Charles Cross, or Evan Neal. Number 7, things get interesting. Like kind of what I mentioned before, I think that Minnesota could be a team that might move up from 12 to 7. That's not too far of a jump. You're looking to get, and basically the entire time, because the Giants already have a handful of picks on day 2. So you don't need anything this year. You're trading for next year's pick. So they would love to get a 1 next year, but you're probably not getting a 1 from moving from 7 to 12.
No, it's going to be a 2.
How far would you have to go? Like, I feel like the Giants would have to trade with this. See, again, like the Saints could be a candidate, but they don't have a first-round pick next year anymore because they got a first-round pick this year.
No, you'd have to flip to flip. And what I mean by that is you'd have to be selling twice, and that is really hard to pull off on draft night.
No, so it's, yeah. There's just not a, again, I know they want to move back from 7, but Baltimore's not moving up. Houston might move up, but again, you're not getting a first round pick if you're moving from 7 to 13. Not in this draft class, I don't think, because Houston's not picking a quarterback. Philly, you're not gonna trade with Philly. They're in your own division. What are you gonna give them, Jameson Williams, so you don't have a corner who can guard him? That'll be smart.
Well, that was what I thought of. The team that makes the most sense to come up is Philly, and they're not going to do business.
Right. And the Chargers, I already said, aren't going to really move up. So if Pittsburgh wants a quarterback, this is basically like all you got. I don't know, man. I don't know. It might be tough sledding for Joe Shane to find a trade partner. It really might.
What if this is like, let me just throw one out that's so ridiculous, Giants fans, so just bear with me. I'm just trying to come up with a real answer for your question here. Say Kansas City wants to come up from 29 to 7. Mammoth climb. They're coming up for Jameson Williams, which is hot sauce.
Okay.
So Kansas City comes up from 29. They send 29, which is worth, we got to get to 1,500 points here, Trev. 29 is worth 640. So they send 29, their first round pick next year,
which is going to be in the 20s.
Which is going to be in the 20s.
So they've got to double up on it.
And pick 62. Is that enough?
No.
So it has to be pick 50, right? Instead of 62?
Even pick 50 doesn't get you to 1,500.
But we're trying to get here close.
You're about 500 points off.
No, they're getting 29. They're getting the 2023 first rounder.
Oh, and
a second rounder this year.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So it goes back. So I think it would be 62.
That would be even. That would be close to even. Yes.
Okay, so in that scenario, the Chiefs come up, and they're still going to pick in the second round at 50. They're just losing the 62nd overall pick. And they're also picking at 30. So what the Chiefs can do is they can try to sell 30, which is a hot commodity usually. Teams come back in round 1 to make up the capital for 2023 that they lost. There's a lot of... This is a long-winded trade proposal, but I'm trying to think of something creative that gets there.
We're trying to have fun. I already poo-pooed
that helps
it
the Giants
everywhere
a lot.
10 to 20, so...
Because the Giants still get to pick at 29.
Yeah.
So they still pick twice in the first round. But they are kicking capital down the road in 2023, where, let's call it what it is. They know internally that there's a decent chance that's Daniel Jones' replacement in 2023. Jones is great this year. Awesome. But they're thinking of it. Of course they're thinking of it. So that's the one I think of. Because Kansas City's close, man. They're always close with Pat Mahomes. You don't need to make 14 picks in this freaking draft.
Right. You don't. You do not. And
that's a way up into the top 10
space to make it either. So nobody has the cap space to sign 14.
No, not the good teams.
You also don't have the roster space. You're drafting players who are going to
getting cut.
We're going to get cut. Yeah, can't even make the practice squad. You're not even feeling like you're overflowing your practice squad at that point. Okay.
You ever hear the Idzik 12?
No. Is this a long story? What is this?
No, I'll make it quick. When John Idzik was the GM for the Jets for 2 years, he had a draft class one year that was like at least 12 players. And like none of them lasted in the NFL. It was called the Idzik 12. But he brought 12 guys into camp. And the Jets weren't even good. So they had room on the roster to keep most of them. And even some of them couldn't get through the camp. The Idzik 12 is like a legendary Jets Twitter. Yeah. So that's what I always think of when I think of these teams that try to have these 14-player classes.
Like ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah, the Idzik 12.
30.
Oh,
the Idzik
man.
12.
Sorry for the stray, John Idzik, wherever you are. All right.
Big ups, John Idzik. Next draft question here.
You choking over there? You're not even... How far in are you?
No, I'm not that far in. I'm trying to be polite. Like, I don't want people to, like, watch me eat. So... I don't know. I'm hoping to get through half of it through the podcast because I'm not like wolfing the whole thing down. But we'll see. We'll see what we got. We got a handful of more questions we are, of course, going to get to. Here's another one. Wanted to know some of your favorite prop bets based on what is it? Oh, I think you put based not only on prediction but your rankings as well. I'm sure Trev loves Charles Cross to be the first O-lineman taken, but any others. Look. I have Charles Cross ahead on my rankings. I think Akeem Kwanu is going to be the first offensive lineman off the board. Yeah. Right? I think that's where we differ here. So, I mean, I think there's a couple of over-unders. Jordan Davis, I know we've talked about 14.5 over-under. I think he's going under. George Karlaftis at this point, his over-under is like 24.5. I still think he's going under. Jordan Davis is all the way down to like 29.5. I'd still bet the under. But man,
29.5 for Jordan Davis?
No. Sorry. Devontae Wyatt.
Oh, I was like, huh?
Jordan Davis was 14.5. Sorry, I'm getting the Georgia guys mixed up. Those are a couple off the top of my head. I don't know. Do you have any up?
Yeah. So the one I really liked, these move too fast. So like it's tough when people always ask me for draft props because you got to get them on the spot and then they're gone. The one I really like that might still be there, Breece Hall over under 39.5. Yeah. If Breece doesn't go in the first round, somebody's going to love him at the top of round 2. So that was one I really liked.
Way under.
The whole Quay Walker as the first linebacker selected, if you can get that in the thousands, it's worth sprinkling on. Trevor, you'll love this one. I don't know how the hell I got this one. I got this like a week ago. Matt Ariza, first special teams player selected, plus money. Not even like the super favorite.
So it's just got to be a kicker, a punter, or a long snapper?
Yeah, he's got to be the first one. How is he not?
Yeah.
The only other two guys that can give him a shot is the Penn State punter, Jordan Stout, and...
What about Stonehouse?
Stonehouse. I don't know if he gets drafted. I do like him.
Come on, man!
I do like him. And then the long snapper from Pitt, Adamitis. But, I mean, that one seems like a layup.
Yeah, it's got to be a layup. Plus money. Good for you if you can get
Plus money.
It's good. It's good if you can get
I still like Drake London at 10. That one's, Then you could do exact position of the teams drafted. If you listen to our million mocks and you think we're on the money about a certain position to a team, that's where the money's made. So yeah, there's a million of these, man. It's pretty crazy.
Next question. Fellow sex addict here. Jeez. Jeez.
Man, it's the best.
Love the show. Listen to every episode. Appreciate you, truly. Trevor and Connor, what do you guys think would be the most disastrous and also realistic pick for any team on day one? Is Trayvon Walker at 1 the most disastrous? What are some other candidates out there? But I haven't thought of disastrous.
Oh, I think of it all the time because I'm so nervous of being alive on the desk.
Kenny Pickett going 6.
It's not good. I think here's the thing. I've mentally prepared myself for Trayvon Walker 1, Kenny at 6, that I'm like, it's bad, but
it's a disaster.
Disaster is if like somebody takes Trevor Penning with a top 12 pick. I'm just like, what in the hell? That is disaster to me.
Giants at 7.
Giants at 7. That would be
Trevor Penning, Giants at 7.
That'd be bad news, Bears. Don't wish that on the Giants fans.
That'd be very tough.
Oh, God. Who's going to do something really stupid? Let's take a look. You know what's going to be kind of funny? And I don't know how funny it's going to be, but it's going to be fascinating. I don't know if Green Bay's actually going to take a wide receiver at 22 or 28. And the internet is going to throw a temper tantrum for the good fight of Aaron Rodgers. So I'm ready for that one. What else we got that will really piss
Stacey
people
Dales
off?
of NFL Network, she was in Green Bay, and she said today that they're taking a wide receiver.
Okay. We'll see. Jerry Jones could do something really wild.
That is what she said. Jerry Jones, listen. Jerry Jones is going to nuke this entire draft. Okay? Did you listen to that pre-draft press conference?
I listened to him.
Jerry Jones
calling dibs on Micah Parsons.
Bro, he is over his own son. Did you see that? He said his son
took Taco Charlton. Yeah, this dipshit next to me took Taco Charlton, but I took the defensive rookie of the year.
He threw his son over.
It was like the
bus,
Lion King
ran
meme.
over him.
He was like,
put it in reverse, backed it up. Dude, I was crying. But here's the thing, Jones said at his pre-draft press conference, Jerry, that is, the one who picks the good players.
the actually good Jones.
He said that they haven't done a trade up in a while, and he said it as if like
he's jonesing for one.
Like he has the itch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's itching to do this. Jerry Jones is going to take your mock draft and he's going to turn it into your March Madness bracket the second your champion goes down in the second round. That's what this guy's about to do. He's about to bust every mock draft there is. I think he's going to do something completely unpredictable. And it's going to be aggressive as hell, man. Like, I'm talking about him calling up, Atlanta at 8. Saying, I'll give you everything I got. I want Drake London. Because listen, Connor.
Let's take a look.
They do love Drake London. But, that's what I'm talking about. We are on the cusp of Jerry declaring war on logic.
They don't even have good capital.
No, they don't.
What is he going to say? Hey, I'll give you a 56 and 129 for your top 10
pick. And a first rounder next
pick.
year, and a first rounder next year, and I don't.
Okay, well, that would be something else.
That's what I'm saying, man. He's got the itch.
I mean,
got the itch.
I don't think it's crazy that he says, screw it. Trevor, the man's turning 80 in the fall. He's like, I'm not waiting around for this anymore. I want to make a splash, baby. Let's do it.
Jerry's going to live forever.
I know. I'm not saying that, but he's tired of waiting.
Science is going to get to the point where they preserve Jerry's brain, and they're going to go to a shot of the war room of the Cowboys, and it's going to be like the Cowboys' entire front office, and then at the head of the table, it's just going to be like a brain in a jar bubbling like you see in cartoons, and it's going to be Jerry.
Zap's thoughts,
and he'll still be able to type on on a screen using his brain power and tell them who to pick.
8 dots for my son's an idiot.
He's got plenty. He's got plenty of time, dude. Okay, this is another question. This is another question from Andrew.
Oh boy.
Another diehard.
I try not to read all of these
on the
for
pod.
the suspense.
But this is also a Cowboys question, so I wanted to transition it here. Said, hello, my name's Andrew. It's been 43 minutes and 9 seconds since I last experienced sex, which is obviously stands for the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Everybody calm down over there. I'm a Cowboys fan, and this offseason has been absolute hell. Poor roster management makes me feel like the Cowboys are forced to either take an interior offensive lineman or a wide receiver in the first. Do you see a scenario where they go a different route and still have a draft that Dallas fans can get excited about? P.S. Trevor, I'll donate $100 to charity if you could sneak in a really good MCU reference without Connor noticing. I don't know, man. Like, what do you – I feel like it's going to be wide receiver or offensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, I don't even know if that's 100% like a pigeonholed thing. It's just clearly where they're going to go. That's where their eyes have gone in the pre-draft process. So I think
so too.
I don't really know if they're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, they're not a team that I think is going to take a safety, as much as that makes sense. I mean, they're in such a good spot to get a really good safety at, and that's a position of need, and I still don't think they'll do it. Interior D-line, they probably wait till day 2. Oh, man. Yeah, I think they are traditionally one of the teams that invest the most in offensive line, and I think that's a good strategy, and I don't think they'll get away from that because it's gotten old in certain areas, it's gotten beat up in certain areas, it's gotten not so good in certain areas. Right. So I would lean that way. And then when you have Jerry in the room, I am just screaming for Treylon Burks. So yeah, I'm with you, Trev. I think you're on it.
I mean, when you look at that offensive line, I don't even think it's necessarily about out of necessity. I really don't. You look at
it's philosophy.
You look at Tyron Smith, right? And you look at Tyron Smith and you look at Zach Martin, and you look at those two guys, and they've been heroes for that Dallas offensive line. They really have. Like, I know it has been a focal point of that team, but like those are the main characters in it. And I'm not saying they're bad. They're definitely not bad, but they're getting older. And whether it is an immediate need that the Cowboys have or not, like those guys are at that point of the career. Like that's the hero gig. Part of the journey is the end, right? And so I'm not saying that it's imminent. I'm not saying that it's going to happen next year, but you've got to continue to invest in the offensive line so you could stay ahead of the curve. That's what I don't think it's a pigeonholed pick. I think it's a good pick. I really do.
And I just think it's there. By the way, part of the journey is the end. No money for charity.
God, you got it. You've seen Endgame.
No, I just knew right away by the inflection of your voice that was a quote.
I thought I kept it even keeled enough.
Yeah, really no money for charity.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn. All right.
Man,
do I get the whole show or just that part?
Good question. You can get the whole show because I was really just going to be a hawk on it during that part. You'll get it by me eventually.
I was trying my best to.
No, I knew you were going to try to slip one in there, so I was like, all right, I'm going to be a hawk. You don't even know who
says it. You don't even know who says the line.
No, I just knew. The voice inflection gave it away.
Oh, man. Rip Tony. R.I.P. Tony.
R.I.P. Yeah, sad times. All right, want to go on to another one? So we think Cowboys wide receiver O-line, and we've done a lot of discussion around them, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, we do. Okay, here's another question. Love to hear some of your dream fits for players that don't necessarily need to be realistic. Another one that he gives
that's
off.
Fun.
This is Tony. He says Jameson going to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, dynamite. Yep.
That's pretty incredible. Who are some picks that you have off the top of your head?
Tyler Linderbaum to the Browns at 44. Not happening. But I mean, you look at that zone scheme. Good Lord. I mean, he would absolutely eat in that scheme. They'd love to have him. Obviously, it's not realistic, but definitely a fun one.
Dude, there's two that I'd absolutely love, and that's Derek Stingley or Jordan Davis to Baltimore at 14. And those could happen.
Those could happen.
I think they're probably going a little bit sooner than that, but those are two spots that I really love. Jameson Williams or Drake London going to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Man. Derek Stingley going to or Sauce Garner going to the Los Angeles Charger. I think both of those would be sick.
That'd be pretty cool.
Basically whoever's going to be the best wide receiver in this class going to Green Bay. I think that would be great.
No, you want George Pickett's to Green Bay is what you want.
If we're being honest here,
that's what you want.
That is indeed what I want.
Man, yeah, that sums it up pretty good. I mean, because we've gone through a lot of scenarios.
Ike Ekwonu to the Titans.
Oh my God, that'd be wicked.
Yeah,
That'd be so wicked.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Could you imagine him and Vrabel?
incredible.
That's the scariest duo in the NFL from day one.
Would be truly
From day one. It's the
incredible.
scariest duo in the NFL. I will die on the Traylon Burks on the Bills hill would be electric. They use him as a big slot. Diggs and Gabe Davis on the outside. Stupid. Straight stupid.
Okay.
Don't think he makes it there.
Next question here. What do you guys think about the possibility for the Giants going with Hamilton at 7? It's rarely a discussed scenario, but the Giants only have 2 safeties on the roster currently, one of whom is Julian Love, who's on the last year of his deal. Plus, I got to believe that Wink would love a guy with Hamilton's versatility. Don't think it's nuts, but it's never discussed, so I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. Thanks, fellas. Keep killing it. Appreciate it, Patrick. That was from Patrick. What do you think, Connor?
I think they're a year away from that. I really like the fit. I really like the idea. I think they're just such a bare bones roster because of Gettleman's financial decisions and draft picks that Kyle Hamilton would be awesome for the Giants, and they do need a safety. But I think when you look at the Giants and the way this draft falls, they can get a little bit better of value by taking a safety at 36 instead. You're going to have a Brisker or a Petrie or maybe a Scene, probably not, but you're going to have a good safety there. So I think at 5 and 7, they need to use it on what they deem premium positions within their schemes: offensive tackle, physical press man, corner. So I like the idea from Pat. I don't think it's nuts, unfortunately. The Giants, like a lot of teams that Kyle Hamilton would be a productive player on, they don't have the luxury to take him. The Texans, the Jets, they fall in that mold as well.
Yeah, I just don't think that they would do it. I don't hate the thought behind it. Like
No.
if they pick Kyle Hamilton at 7, I'd be like, okay,
Cool.
well now that he is the pick, I like it. Like I can see a lot of different things that Wink's going to do with him. I just think that they've got other plans. They've got other priorities and a way to attack this draft. I agree with Connor. It's a little bit better use of resources to probably wait on it, even though Kyle Hamilton is the best safety in this class. I think there's a lot of good safeties to be had that you could pick within the top 50, and they've got a couple of picks there before 50 anyways. This question. This person said that they posted it in iTunes, but now it didn't show up, which I appreciate them also getting this to Twitter because I wanted to make sure we saw it. I know Azeez Ojulari was Connor's edge 1 last year. He was your edge 1?
He was my edge 1.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Trevor, where did he rank for you? And both of you, where would he rank amongst these edge rushers in this year's draft? Okay, you answer where Azeez would rank for you this year.
Oof.
I'm going to look up where I had him on my big board.
He would be much lower this year. I liked him in Jalen Phillips last year, and I liked Kwity Paye. I liked those 3 quite a bit. I wasn't very high on the rest of the edge class. Now, with that being said, I'd have KT over Ojulari. I'd have Hutchinson over Ojulari. I'd have Jermaine Johnson over Ojulari. I'd have a healthy David Ojabo over Ojulari. I would maybe even have Trayvon Walker over Ojulari. It'd be close. Ojulari to me would be on the same scale as where I have Ibikady this year. He's 26th on my board, and Karlaftis is 28th. I'd have Ojulari right with Ibikady and Karlaftis this year. So it's obviously a really talented edge class this year, while last year it was kind of so-so.
I cannot find where my rankings are.
So, and Ojulari was a nice little player for them in the second round last year. He, I know the pressures, weren't completely dialed up, but he ended the year with 8 sacks. He was a young player. He's still 21 years old. So Ojulari's a nice player.
I definitely had him
kind of one-dimensional.
I definitely had him below Jalen Phillips. I think I had him below Kwity Paye. I probably would have had him in the same conversation with Odafe Owe and Ojulari were probably right there after that. Making sure I'm not missing any outside linebackers if they were labeled as
Yeah, I pulled up the board right now. So I had Ojulari 17th and Jalen Phillips 18th. So they were kind of a pair.
I think I clearly had Jalen Phillips as my top edge guy that year.
So, it's a good question. It's always good to stack up classes because you get a good picture. And for all the talk about how much people don't like this draft class, then you compare last year's edge class to this year's edge class, and you're like, whoa. Do you agree with that, Trevor? By the way, I didn't even ask you that part. Do you agree this edge class is way better at the top than last year's?
Yeah, it is. And it's funny that we talk about it like that, right? Because the rest of the class, we talk about not being super strong, but I'd have Thibodeau. I'd have Hutchinson. I would have Trayvon. I would have Jermaine Johnson. I would have George Karlaftis all above Azeez Ojulari. So
yeah,
I think
so
that's
you
probably
feel the same way.
Where he would stick with me. I want to make sure we're not missing any other iTunes questions. Might be one more.
And we apologize if we miss it because they do come in at their own. They have a mind of their own.
Yeah, they do. So like I said, we've got to make sure that we are more dependable on this. I think the way that we're going to do it in the future is if you leave us an iTunes review, screenshot it. Make sure you screenshot it and also tweet it at us because that'll show us that you submitted it and that you've got it right there. So we want to be able to make sure
we won't miss it.
Here's a Jets one. I have a question about the Jets. Do you believe that if KT is there at 4, they will ultimately take him or pass on him and draft, as people are now saying, Jermaine Johnson, Ike Ekwonu, or Sauce Gardner? 2 weeks ago, Jets reporters such as Connor Hughes, Rich Meany, were saying how if KT was there at 4 for the Jets, they would take him. But now they're saying that they like JJ better. Something's fishy to me. What do you think?
I think they would take Ike. I've thought for a long, long time.
You were early on it, man.
Trevor knows this one.
You're very early on it.
If the only time I don't write in Ike as their pick at 4, because there are published things out there of me putting KT there sometimes, some other players, is when I think Ike won't make it there. And now that we're here during draft week, I think there's a really good chance Ike's there. And they wouldn't pass on him. They love him. He's a special talent. So I think it would be Ike at 4. That's my final pick. This draft could get crazy. I mean, obviously, if Aiden Hutchinson is there, which is a very small chance that conversation changes. But I don't think they're that hot on KT, and I thought they were for a long time in terms of the pass rush class as a whole. I don't get that sense. I think all the Jermaine Johnson buzz you hear around the Jets has got misconstrued as being at number 4 when I think they like him a lot at number 10. So I think that's where he kind of falls in line with them. We'll see if he makes it to 10. I would put that at 50-50. And then we know they need a wide receiver as well. So my final pick for the Jets at 4 is Ike Ekwonu, and I know Trevor's kind of been on board with me there for a couple months now.
Sauce was the other one that was in that group.
Yeah, I just don't see them
pick him at 4 or 10.
A top 5 pick on a corner for a team that's not very good is not the Robert Saleh way, as far as I know. Sauce is a great player, and it's rare for a draft for a corner to be worth the 4th overall pick, and I think Sauce is. But not for the Jets. I don't think they view it that way. I know there are people that are very convinced Sauce will be, like big time people, convinced Sauce will be the pick. I disagree, and we'll see. We'll see who's right.
All right, there we go. All right, another question. Sticking in the theme of the show, what positions are bear and bull markets in this year's draft? Bear being a position that will go lower, slowly, and a bull being a high priority, quickly picked position.
Well, Bears tight end right out of the gate. They're gonna snooze on tight end for a long time.
Maybe not one team.
Bull's there's gonna be a hot wide receiver run. There's gonna be a hot edge run. There's gonna be a hot tackle run. That's the 3 right there. So I'll give you one more Bear. So we said tight end. And I don't want to cheat and say like long snapper. Oh, running back.
I think running back, yeah, but
that's the way it is, right?
Yeah, it seems like linebackers going faster than it normally does. Safety might go faster than it normally does.
Corner being corner.
Corners, of course, a premium position. Interior offensive line, maybe because you're getting the likes of Tyler Linderbaum dropping to the 2nd round, but yeah, I mean, I think those are probably the only ones that I would really hit. Tight end, running back for sure. And the wide receiver, edge rushers, offensive tackles. Those are all definitely. I mean, I guess if we're being honest, quarterback's definitely in a bear market or in a yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. It's quarterback's definitely in a bear market.
You want to hear a little mid-show bomb right now that I just find intriguing for the draft as we try to paint the picture of the round 1?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Tim Kawakami from the Athletic San Francisco obviously covers the Niners. Does a great job.
Shout out to him.
Just tweeted. Somebody asked him, "Hey Tim, do you think Debo trade is kind of dead at this point, or do you think there's still time?" And he said, it likely wouldn't be announced unless the Niners have a deal and the player they want is still there. Would be a trade on the clock. Put it this way, if I didn't think a Debo trade was a live possibility, I wouldn't go to 49ers HQ tomorrow. And I'm going to 49ers HQ tomorrow. So, just something interesting to watch here in the draft tomorrow. That a Debo trade could be announced live. I think that might leak, but we'll see. Would be crazy. Would shake things up.
This question comes from Gucci Bucket Hat.
Nice.
Why doesn't Trevor wear chains like Connor?
Trevor? Come on.
Dude, I can't pull
Shark
chains.
tooth necklace?
I can't. Well, I died. Now I did. Listen. You can find.
You kind of look like a shark tooth necklace.
You can
surfer.
find some 6th, 7th grade pictures of young Trev rocking the puka shell necklace or
Think
like the shark tooth necklace for sure. Dude, I grew up in Florida. Come on, needed it. I had to have it. I wasn't cool if I didn't have it.
We'll do a stock exchange turnover chain. I don't know what the moment would have to be that we get to wear it.
Are we gonna mail it to each other when like?
Yeah, we'll each have a copy on our desk.
Okay, that's good. That's
and
actually
we'll
a lot more
pretend to pass it over to each other on the camera, and then the person goes. You hang it in front of you.
This is a good bit. I like this.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll go look into custom chains. Okay. Not the ones the colleges drop like $100,000 on it. That would be something.
Just send me the Venmo request.
Yeah, we'll find a New York jeweler.
We'll be fine. Back to it. Joe asked this question. Success in the NFL depends on two things: talent and situation. Excluding Leo Chanel to the Patriots, who are 5 prospects where if they landed in the right situation, the sky's the limit. I guess we kind of answered this question already, but yeah, want
to go deeper down the board?
Or do we want to go more realistic with it? Like, if Jordan Davis goes to the Baltimore Ravens, I think that he is just going to have a long, incredible, very successful career.
I think that's fair. You could do this with running backs, right? I mean,
sure, yes.
Who really needs a running back besides the Bills? Isn't it funny we never have that conversation?
I mean, Tampa does, but
Tampa does. They got Lenny.
Yeah, but I mean, like they barely brought Lenny back. You know, they let Lenny hit the market for a long time.
Houston. Doesn't Houston just have like a weird collection of running backs? It's a strange group. I remember I just looked at this the other day. Marlon Mack, Rex Burhead.
Oh, no, Marlon Mack, baby. They're good. I'm a Marlon Mack truther.
I like Marlon Mack as well. Marlon Mack's not stopping you from drafting.
Truther.
Low key, and they won't do it this year, going back to my can't afford the luxury. Maybe the Giants will need one eventually if they really don't plan on extending Saquon. I'm just being honest. This is too much.
Might be a little too much for those who stuck.
Yeah, that wasn't very nice.
Jared asked this one. This will be our last one that we'll do. Who is the most polarizing team in the first round this year? I love this question. Who has, Connor, throughout your many days and hours of thinking about mock drafts and predictions and situations, who has been the toughest team for you to nail down what they might do?
Houston Texans, every time. Not only are they completely unpredictable, they pick twice in the top 15. And I'm somebody that I really do try to study guys' backgrounds and gravitate towards what they are brought up in, because I think that's what I do sometimes in scouting, who I was mentored by. Mm-hmm. So when I say like Nick Caserio comes from New England, he's going to value a valuable press man or a man-to-man corner that can island guys. You look at Stingley and Sauce, things like that. Value the trenches. We've talked about Icky there before. All those things sound great, but truly, like within the walls of Houston, man, it is really, really tough. I struggle with those picks, and it's not a good year to struggle with that one because what happens at number 3 can set the tables from 4 through 10.
I think you're right. I think the other team that I'd probably place firmly on the table is the Minnesota Vikings, but that more goes into the fact that it's brand new, right? It's a brand new head coach. It's a brand new GM.
Yeah, and at 12, I kind of don't care as much.
Definitely, but it makes it hard. It makes it very hard to predict because if Minnesota is truly one of those teams that's not going to force a need, then they're a wild card. They're a tipping point at the middle area of the draft where they could take anybody. They could take an offensive lineman. They could take a defensive lineman. They could take a corner. They could take a safety. They could take a wide receiver. They could take all of these different positions, and you just don't know. They could get aggressive to trade up, and I think it's really hard to get a beat on the Vikings simply because there's just not a lot of information on them. But you're right. The Texans are always, they seem to be a mysterious team. You don't exactly know which way they're going to go. They're also a relatively new regime, especially with having first-round picks. So I would agree with you. I think that Houston's been pretty tough to nail down when it comes to all these teams.
Yeah, they're tough, and they're so impactful what they do with the top 15.
3 and 13. Yep.
Yeah, it just sets it. So that's the one for me. I pulled my hair out. The Bengals too, but the Bengals, when you get to 31, you're like, this isn't really going to make or break my mock draft.
Right. It's not. You're not losing sleep too much over the Bengals, especially when we picked them a linebacker, and obviously all of our loyal listeners who are in the greater Cincinnati area love when we do that. I appreciate everybody submitting the iTunes reviews, asking us questions. We promise that we're going to do a lot more of these kinds of things. We had a lot of fun with this, switching it up, cutting it back, a little less structure this show. For those of you that remember the Fan Fridays on Lockdown NFL Draft, and I'm sure that you guys had mailbags with the Stick to Football. I mean, it was this is a lot of fun for us to get to hear from you guys and let you direct some of the show and let us get to cut it loose a little bit. So we're going to promise that we're going to do more of these during the summer. The turnover chain, I guess, is coming. Maybe the argument or the point chain or something, whatever we're going to call it, is coming. But
did you get a reference by me?
I didn't.
No charity, no money to charity. Does that make me bad? That I could have let it go by.
You could have.
Charity.
You could have. You're a bad person.
This is my heel turn.
I think.
Draft week,
I think
2022. I'm ready to be the villain.
We're setting up the WWE script for us to face off at SummerSlam. You know.
This is gnarly. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was another thing we wanted to do was get title belts. I guess we could pull the curtain back on this to tell everyone. When we were doing the draft off with the Tailgate Boys, Trevor and I were going to get tag team belts made and wear them for the actual.
I still think we do it. Even though
we could do it. We just didn't have time.
Even though the chat lost or they rigged the ballot, actually, you know what I think happened is they hacked YouTube while it was going on and they rigged the ballot, so we didn't win the poll.
Yeah, Renner was way too quiet.
Renner looks like an IT guy on this.
Oh my God, that's a diabolical shot.
He does. He does.
I think that's what I said about Hunter Renfrow when he was a prospect.
All right, so Mike Renner is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver for Derek Carr. That's what I said right there. That's what I heard.
Big compliment.
Look, I'm going to be sitting next to the IT guy that is Mike Renner on PFF's draft show. Connor is going to be. Are you hosting, or are you just in like the main analyst chair? What do you do?
Lefko will be hosting, and I will be in the, as you said, the main analyst chair. I like that. I'm going to use that now. Hello, I am main analyst chair 1.
Dude, Lee. I was telling somebody at PFF this. Just keep making up titles, and this goes for everybody out there. When you introduce yourself, just keep upping your title.
Yeah.
Lead, head, chief,
CEO of data,
czar, pharaoh, grand poobah. It doesn't matter. Just invent your own title. It just doesn't matter. So
if you're a VP of anything, you're doing great.
Look, I know you guys are going to have one of the main channels on your television, ESPN or NFL Network, but we would love for you guys to hang out with us as well on PFF's draft show, BR's draft show as well. We're going to have a lot of fun covering not just night 1 of the NFL draft, day 2, obviously, day 3. Connor and I are going to be back here on this very podcast after night 1, the wee hours. So you know it's going to get crazy. In the wee hours of after rounds 2 and 3 as well. And I know I said that we were going to be live or we were going to have a podcast right after day 3, but we're actually going to push that to the Monday episode. So just letting you guys know, it's not going to come out Sunday right after day 3. That one's going to be coming out on Monday. But buddy, we made it. It is officially draft day. I'm excited to see you guys on the desk. I'm excited to see where these prospects go, man.
That's right. Have a great draft, brother. I'm looking forward to it being over when we're BSing like this and doing the recap shows when we got to breathe a little bit. We'll both be home after actually being at work, which you guys always see us from our homes. So we will be getting home and breaking it all down, and you can stay up, I guess, but you'll probably want to wake up and start your day like Christmas morning or the day after Christmas.
We will see you guys after round 1. Thanks for listening to the NFL Stock Exchange.